Alright, today I'm going to talk about how to create pop-up forms that are going to take your traffic and put them into your email list so you can start generating more revenue for your e-commerce business by owning and retargeting these people. I've made and optimized pop-ups for over 140 e-commerce businesses, and across all of these brands, our average client saw a 22 to 50% of their monthly revenue coming in from our email marketing. Like this brand that went from making $57,000 to $79,000 a month in the first 30 days of us working together. This client went from making nothing from their emails to making $108,000 in just 30 days. And we also took this peptide company that went from making $30,000 from their email marketing to the next 30 days making $90,000. Now, unless you are living under a rock, you probably know that pop-up forms are a huge part of making results like this possible for e-commerce businesses. And the reason why it's the most important is because if you're not building your email list, you're simply just not owning your traffic. You're essentially just renting it from Facebook and Google. So I'm not being dramatic when I say this. Every single brand with a broken pop-up is basically volunteering and willing to just lose insane amounts of money every single month. That's why in this video, I'm going to show you why most pop-ups fail, how to use zero-party data, actually personalize your entire customer journey and increase your conversion rates and your welcome flow. And then I'm going to walk you through the exact process of setting it all up inside of Klaviyo step by step. All right, so before we get into the strategy itself, we need to talk about why most pop-up forms are broken in the first place so you know what to actually avoid. And there are 3 mistakes that I see after talking to hundreds of e-commerce brands that pop up every single time I talk to them. Okay, so the first mistake that most brands make with their pop-up is that it is just generic and it just looks ugly. Let's take a look at this brand right here. This is Salt and Stone. They're really big skincare and hair care and just overall, like, they sell a lot of cool things that are just really expensive. They're known for like fancy deodorant basically. But if you take a look at their pop-up, it's very bland. It's like unlock 10% off. It's not even big. It's almost the same size as like their text right here. Right here, it's like plus exclusive offers, early access to launches and more. And then you have a continue button. You don't want a continue button as one of the first steps because if I unlock 10% off and I press continue, then I know I'm going to be going through another stage of the actual pop-up. You want your CTAs to always say something like claim offer or claim code now, simply because that'll get more people to actually sign up rather than them knowing that they're going to have to go through another step right after. Here's another one from Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez. There, it's just very cluttered here. Like we have enjoy 10% off your first order, your first $30 order when you sign up. We then have this entire, kind of terms and service thing. This I like to put at the very bottom. Then they're also asking for your birthday and your email. They might as well be asking for my social security at this point. Like we don't want to be asking so many questions. We really want to be asking one main question that I like basically gather and kind of tailor their experience. That's the zero-party data I'm going to be diving into soon. And then we want to ask their email and their phone number. That's basically it. We don't want any first name. We don't want birthdays or anything like that. I can see where the strategy is going because they want to be able to send, birthday reminders or, here's a birthday gift, something like that. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, this is something you could probably gather in your post-purchase after they've already became a customer rather than before. And then here's another one from Haka. I mean, this one, their offer just sucks, like free expedited shipping. And on top of this is very bland. If any of the teams from these companies are watching, then I'm sorry, you guys have to work on your pop-up. So here are just a few examples of what we actually made for some of our clients. So right here, as you can see, it's like want 15% off. It's a very big headline right in front of you where you could see and you won't miss it. And it's also a different color from the rest of the headline, so you could fully see it. We want to make your offer stand out as soon as it pops up on their screen. Then we ask them a very quick question. So this is the zero-party data that we're collecting. We're basically saying, what are your current fitness goals? It's lose weight, build lean muscle, or improve workout recovery. We then tailor it inside of the welcome flow, which I'm going to show you in just a sec. Here's another one. So you've got $10 off. Once again, big headline, different color, really just stands out. Secure $10 off so they know that, okay, I'm going to secure my $10 once I put in my phone number here. Unlock $100 off, and this one's just like, hey, you want 50% off? Which aspect interests you the most right here? And then we're asking for that data again. So these are just a few examples of how you can model your overall pop-up. You want to make sure you have a clear and bold headline that talks about the offer. You want to have a clear CTA that basically says that they're going to actually secure whatever offer you are giving them. And on top of that, if it's the first step or the second step, you want to be asking that zero-party data question, which once again, I'll be diving into soon. Now, the second mistake that most brands make with their actual pop-up is that they have double opt-in turned on. So double opt-in is basically asking people to confirm their subscription and confirm that they want to receive emails and SMS from you. So if you think about it from a buying standpoint, this person goes onto your website and that pop-up goes on their page. They put in their email, they put in their phone number, they even put in that zero-party data. And after all of that, they're getting another question basically asking them like, hey, are you sure you want to sign up for this brand's emails? It makes it annoying. It adds way too much friction. And let me show you how to turn it off. So once you're on your Klaviyo home screen here, you want to go into your website, sign up forms. you want to go to the pop-up that is currently live. So right here for our desktop and mobile pop-up, we are using the list newsletter. So you're probably going to have two lists on there, one for SMS and one for your actual emails. For this, we're using newsletter only. So what I'm going to do now is go into audience and list and segments. I'm going to type in newsletter. And I'm going to click on the actual list. So once we are inside of the list, then you have to go into your settings right here, consent, and then make sure that single opt-in is turned on. So if it says this, all you have to do is just click on single opt-in and then save. And then now you've officially turned off double opt-in. So the people that are coming from your pop-up and they're actually subscribing to your email list, they're not going to be asked again to actually confirm. So you're going to remove that extra step. They're going to get their email and then they're going to actually go ahead and make a purchase on your site. All right, and finally, the third mistake is that brands are not collecting data on their pop-up. So like I showed you and like I was talking about earlier, we always like to ask a very simple question just so we could tailor the overall experience. Like if I go back to our pop-ups here that we made, for this brand right here, they're obviously a fitness, they sell, supplements and protein shakes, all that sort of stuff. We asked them a very quick question about what their fitness goals are. So we're talking about losing weight, we're talking about building lean muscle, we're talking about improving workout recovery. The reason why we are doing this is because once we have this data and once we know what their goals are, we could tailor all of the future emails to what they actually want to see and what they actually basically just tailor it to their actual goals. So if their goal is to lose weight, we're going to put them into a welcome flow that only talks about losing weight and how our products can help them get there. That's going to be so much better than if they have the goal of losing weight. And then if we talk about bulking and building more muscle, then they're not going to want to buy that because it's not aligned with their actual goals. So by collecting zero-party data inside of your pop-up, you could tailor your emails to actually align with the goals of your prospects. And the way you want to do this is basically defining, okay, who actually buys my products? So for example, for that client, we knew that there are people who want to lose weight. We knew that there are people who, wanted to bulk up. And then just basically, what was the third one right here is improving workout recovery. So basically, we know that these three main people are coming to our site and buying. So we might as well just ask them a question and put these three options on there. So you need to ask yourself, what types of customers am I selling to? What types of products am I selling to certain types of customers? Like for example, if you're a fashion company and you sell men's clothing, women's clothing, and kids clothing, we could ask them on the pop-up, what are you looking for? Are you looking for men's clothing, women's clothing, or kids? From there, you only tailor it based off of what they're choosing in the pop-up. So if they choose men's clothing, you only show them men's clothing. Here's a peptide company that we are working with, and this is the first step inside of their actual pop-up. So it's like, yo, mind if we spot you 10% off? What's your number one fitness goal right now? So they're selling peptides mainly for people who go to the gym. And we're basically asking them, I want to get absolutely jacked. I want to get cut and get ripped. I want to feel unstoppable. These are the three main types of people who are buying from them, and we are just putting them into the right buckets so we could then tailor our sequences to them. So if I go into our welcome flow here, as you could see into the current version, right here, this first version is only talking about getting jacked. So as you can see, we have somebody who's bench pressing right here. We're basically talking about the goal that they have here and how we actually help them. And then we show them the products that will actually get them there. Same thing when it comes to getting shredded. We talk about basically the pain point that they're going through and basically the benefit that they want to achieve, and then showing them products that will actually get them there. And then same thing with feeling unstoppable or feeling invincible. We just have all the products there. So as you can see, we're tailoring based off of what they actually want. Let me show you another example. So this is SBMTX. We're basically asking in the pop-up like, hey, do you want 10% off your order? Tell us what home improvement project you're working on. So this is a company who sells basically like home building materials, and they have so many SKUs and so many different types of products on their actual site, where we're just asking them so we could fully just tailor the entire sequence to them. So let me show you. We ask them, hey, are you looking for door replacements? Are you asking for a kitchen replacement? Or are you looking to, do like a bathroom remodel? Then inside of our welcome flow here, right here, we're talking only about doors. We're only showing them different types of doors that they would be interested in. Right here, we're only talking about kitchens, so we're showing them before and afters of different kitchens we have worked on. We're showing them cabinets, cabinet hardware, countertops, all that type of stuff. And then this one is for the bathroom right here, so we're only showing them products that would fit in that description of what they're looking for. Now imagine if we didn't do this and we just had all of these inside of one email. One, that will be super long. 2, that'll be super confusing. And 3, it'll just turn off people from actually buying on your site. That's why by asking one simple question in your pop-up, you could tailor the entire experience and you'll start to see significantly more conversions coming in from your welcome flow. And once again, the way to collect the right zero-party data for your business is simply asking yourself, what products am I selling? Who am I selling to? What benefits am I helping people get towards? And what pain points am I solving? If you could basically ask yourself that and you could figure out, okay, there's 3 main types of buckets I could put these people in, just ask that question, put those as options. And if you don't see people actually clicking on those options, just ask another question and change up the options. It's not that hard, guys. All we have to do is just ask a very simple question, put them into different buckets, and then tailor the welcome flows to them. Now, real quick, if you're thinking that this is way too much to focus on and to build out while you are doing all the other things a part of your business, then we actually offer a service where we build and optimize these pop-up forms for you, connect them to a fully personalized welcome flow. We've done this for over 140 e-commerce businesses, and the results speak for themselves. If you want to have a conversation about what that could look for you, click the first link in the description to book a call, and let's just get back to the video. So at this point, you know why most pop-ups fail and have a strategy for actually collecting zero-party data for your business. And now what I want to get into is the actual technical part of setting this all up inside of Klaviyo. So let's just dive right into it. All right, so this is the pop-up that we are going to set up today. So this is going to be the step number one. So it's like, hey, you've got 10% off. Before we send that, what are you shopping for today? This is going to be the men's clothing, women's, and kids. From there, we have pop-up step number two, which is us collecting the email. Then we have the actual phone number, and that's pretty much it. So what you want to do is go into your Klaviyo account, then go into website, and then sign up forms. From there, you want to create a form, and then you just want to, you could choose one of these ones right here. I like to choose, where is it? You basically just want like one of these where it's just like a 50% image and then 50% text. This is a flyout actually, but I'm just going to change this up into a actual pop-up here. So just going to connect this to your newsletter. Remember, whatever list you actually put these into, make sure that double opt-in is turned off. Then you just want to click on create form. Once you actually have this, so this is going to be a flyout. So I'm just going to change this to a pop-up, and you do that by going to form type. And then now what we're basically going to do is just set this up. So what I'm going to do inside of here is just take this image so I could put it right here. So what I'm going to do is just go inside of Figma, and I'm going to click on the letter S on my keyboard and just actually just fully take this. I'm just going to do this for all of them here. So just so I have all of the images, just to make it easier on myself. And then also right here. So now with all of these different slices, I'm just going to export them. Export the 3 different layers there. And now I'm going to put it as one of the side images. So I'm going to go into here, going to add this very first one that we have. I'm going to compress it a little bit just so we don't have a very, very long load time. And I'm going to make sure that, I'm just going to compress this so it actually, doesn't have a long load time. And then what I'm going to do is actually just flip these so we have like this little like gradient thing, so where it like smoothly transitions into the white. What I'm going to do is just go into styles and then make this a left image. So now it just fully kind of like just seamlessly goes into the actual white there. And now what I'm going to do is just copy all of this. So I'm going to copy the text like you've got. And then I'm going to focus on the fonts and all that sort of stuff later. I'm just going to align this into the middle. Put this 10% off right below that. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Put that right there. And then before we send that, what are you shopping for today? Perfect. And then just the overall colors. So the colors of what we are going to be doing, if I just click on that right there, just going to copy these colors and just change up the actual, buttons and the text, all that type of stuff. So right here, text color is going to be this green. And essentially now I'm just going to kind of redesign it and mimic how we actually built it out here inside of Figma. This is what my team had actually built out for them. And I'm also going to be, having these options on there rather than the actual email. So I'm going to remove this email output by deleting this block. And essentially what I'm going to do here is have the action still be submit form, but I'm just going to add the property, and I'm going to create a new property called clothing. So now this person is going to have whatever, it's going to be clothing as the actual property, and then we can actually tailor it to whatever we put as the value. So if I put men clothing right here, men's clothing, now anytime that it says sign up, which is why it's a little confusing, but if I put men's clothing here, now anytime that somebody clicks on this, the property clothing is now going to equal men's. So now every single time that we want to send out a campaign to these people, we can tailor it by that one property. And this is how we could actually collect the data and actually tag them as a part of their actual profile inside of your Klaviyo account. Now what we want to do is just, before I duplicate it, I just want to make sure we have our fonts right. And the font here is going to be DM Sans. So let's hope that that Klaviyo still has that. So they don't have that. What I'm going to do is just change it into this and just change the actual text size just for the sake of the video. And then I'm going to duplicate this. And then this one is going to be woman's clothing. And then this is also going to be submit form, show next step. And then the property is going to be clothing once again. And for the value, you could just do women's clothing. And then we just want to do the same thing right here. So we're going to duplicate it, make sure that it's submit form, showing the next step. You just want to do clothing, and then you're going to do kids clothing. And just make sure this also mimics it as well. So now this entire thing is all set up. What I'm going to do is just lower this size a little bit right there. So I'm just going to highlight that. So what you want to do is, sorry, here we go. Highlight that. Put the pixels to like 32-ish, just so it's a little bit smaller, because we want to make the actual offer a lot bigger than, you know, the top text. Then we're going to take this and make it like 60, for example, just so it really, really pops out there. So that's going to be set up properly. This is, you know, a good font size there. Now for the mobile, you want to have the image actually off. We've seen that, but on mobile, you just want to have the question on there as well as the zero party data. And I'm just going to rename this right here, edit name, to just ZPD for short. Then we're going to add a step where we want to do the personal information, or we just want to do like create blank step there. Add step. And then what we're going to do is add in the other image. So right here, I actually have to go back and make sure that this little gradient thing is on the image there. So I'm just now going to go to slice 2. Go to slice 2, export it, replace what I made before, and just add this right here. Perfect. And then for the actual text, I mean, what we actually can do is just clone it, just so we don't have to do all of the, just so we don't have to add in all the text and all the different colors and different things like that. So I'm actually just going to remove this. And then from there, what I'm going to do is click on replace, add in the image, and then just add in all of the fonts there as well. So 10% off is secured. It's a little too big there. So now I'm just going to make this like 35-ish just to have it for now. I'm going to delete that block and then add your email below so we could send it over. And then I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. And then now I'm going to add block. And then on the add block section, I'm going to put email input. And then from there, it's going to have the email address. And then on the submit form section, on the actual button, I'm just going to do, you know, claim 10% off. So not continue, not, you know, go to the next step or something like that. It's going to be claim 10% off. And then just to make sure all the fonts and stuff are good, I'm going to change this to like, let's say like 50 here. This should be a little bit bigger. I'm going to change this to like 22. And then right here, I'm just going to make sure that, so 10% off, we want to make sure that the 10% off is actually colored, not everything. So I'm just going to highlight this text color and make it black. And then perfect. Now we have the second step already done. And now finally, what we need to do is the actual SMS step. So right here, I'm just going to copy and clone it. So once again, the way to actually clone it is clicking on these 3 dots, clicking clone, and then just doing SMS step right there. And then what does the SMS actually look like? So be the first to know about the news. I'm just going to take this, put that in there. Going to lower the font to like 35-ish. And then I'm going to add in the image. So on our actual design here, we don't have that gradient. So I'm just going to copy that onto here and just take this and then export it one more time. Replace this, upload the image. So actually I had done the entire thing, not the actual slice. So I just need to get the actual slice here. Let's see, let's be professionals here. Come on. Let's add in the image, compress it, and then upload. And then be the first one to know where the news is. And then rather than having the email input, we want to make sure that we have the actual SMS on there. So text input there. And then once somebody does submit the form, we're just going to do the profile property of SMS, consent, SMS right there, show label. And then what I'm going to do, you know, your number right here. And then just make sure that we have all of the kind of proper colors in place as well. So I'm going to highlight that, put that in there. And then now, essentially, we have a full pop-up already built out inside of Klaviyo here. We have all of the actual zero-party data that we've set up. And essentially, once again, we have our men's clothing, which is linking to men's clothing, women's clothing, which is linking to the women's clothing, and then kids' clothing, which is linking to the kids. So now let me show you how to actually connect whenever somebody does click on this. Let's see how to actually connect it to the actual welcome flow. So now what you want to do is go into your flow section here and then create flow. And then what you want to do is click on the welcome series. And then just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do test. And then I'm going to do the actual trigger. So I'm going to do the email list and then use template. And then now it's going to have some, conditional split based off of if they have placed an order or not. And we don't want to do that. We're just going to delete everything on here. And then delete this. We could have this as just like a placeholder. So we don't want to have any time delay. As soon as they sign up, we want to immediately just share the actual discount to them. And then what we want to do is set up a conditional split here where we're only saying that people who go inside of this flow, we're going to put right here, where's property. So property is about somebody. We're going to make clothing or whatever property you actually had set up equals, and let's say this is for the actual men. So I'm going to do men's clothing only. Now people who only have that tag of men's clothing are going to go into here, which I'm going to move this into the yes side. So now they're only going to get that. Now what we want to do is you could also set up another conditional split, or you could set up another flow and just do the exact same thing where you do, properties about somebody, and then you do clothing, and then equals, women's clothing here. And then on this yes section, you're only going to have, women's clothing. And then same thing right here for the actual kids clothing. You could do you want to do that exact same thing. And then from there, you only put in emails about men's clothing all throughout this flow, because these are people who only want men's clothing. Same thing with the women's, and then same thing with the kids. So this is exactly what me and my team do for all of our clients. We make sure that the pop-ups are all connected through the properties, and then from there we set up our flows to make sure that each conditional split is only tailored to whatever that customer actually wants. And then we make sure that our welcome flows are custom tailored based off the data we are collecting inside of the pop-up. So now you know how to build a pop-up that actually converts, and more importantly, how to use data to personalize your welcome flow and actually just make more money for your business. And if you want to see the complete welcome flow strategy that we use, watch the next video where I break down our 7 email flow system. I'll see you in the next one.